Hello, welcome to my video, a Wanda guide. On this video, I'll teach you everything about this new DSD character. This video is late, since I didn't have early access to her, but there was a few changes, so at least my video will be accurate to those few changes. It hasn't changed much, just a few small details, so if you watched someone else's guide, you probably already know everything that is important to know. But let's get to it. Upon entering the constant, she will be 38 years old. Her total hunger is 175 and her favorite food is taffy. Taffy will restore 40 hunger, 15 sanity, and it doesn't hurt her, so it's a really efficient dish. Her total sanity is 200 and her health meter is replaced by an age meter. Her age goes from 20 to 80. It cannot go below 20, and when it hits 80, she just dies of old age. She also ages as you play her. She'll get old by 1 year every 40 seconds, 12 years per day. She has 3 different stages depending on her age. Her first stage is between the age of 20 and 35, she's a young adult. From age 36 to 64, she becomes a boomer. And from age 65 to 79, she's an old granny. And as I said before, at 80, she dies. Taking damage also makes her grow old. Every 2.5 damage increases her age by 1. For example, if you got hit by Badger and you were not wearing any armor, you will age by 40 years. Armor will be really important when you're playing her. Armor reduces damage, so it also reduces how much she ages by damage. She can't heal from any healing item that already existed in-game. Not crockpot foods, not healing salves, not jelly beans, and not even sleeping. But she will gain age if you are consuming something that would damage her health, like red caps or monster meats. And there is a big advantage on her being old. As a boomer, she'll get a damage buff from using dark swords and her special weapon that I'll mention later. And as a granny, she gets an even higher buff in damage from those 2 weapons, but she also won't lose any sanity when wearing a dark sword or knight armor. Apparently, Tulecite armor and weapons are not related to shadow magic, so it does nothing special for her. And don't forget, the older you get, the closer you are to just die. When you want to take advantage of those buffs, you'll also be at a very dangerous situation, just a few hits from dying, making her the glass cannon type of character. As a granny, the sanity cost from shadow items is reduced, like using the Lazy Explorer or the Star Caller. But she also takes a lot longer to craft things. And she'll get a debuff of 50% less damage with non-shadow weapons. For example, a spear that would deal 34 damage will now deal 17. And those are all the details that I gathered about her stages, so now let's talk about her craftables one by one. Clockmakers Tools is used to make timepieces, the special item required for all her other craftables. But it has an extra use, to deconstruct her watches and get all items back with no cost. This item has no durability and it's not consumed when making or deconstructing her clocks. If you don't lose it somewhere, you'll only need to craft one of it, and that's it. Timepieces. She starts with 3 of those and, as mentioned, it's an item required for all her other craftables. This one is consumed when making a new clock. It costs 8 Tulecite fragments each, and you might think the ruins is the only place you can get those. But there is a more beginner-friendly way to obtain it, hammering the walls in the archives. Those are not renewable, so if you want to craft a bunch of watches, you will eventually have to adventure yourself into the ruins. Ageless Watch. She starts with this one and its main use is restoring her age by 8 years. It has a cooldown of 2 minutes, but considering that you're not getting hit by everything, this item will be enough for you to survive forever. And it also has no durability. If you think one ageless watch is not enough, you can craft several and each of them will have its own cooldown. But good luck managing your inventory if you choose this path. And it's worth mentioning that it has an animation, so be safe when using it. Second Chance Watch. This is basically a life-giving amulet or a telltale heart. She can revive herself with it if the watch is on the floor. But other players cannot haunt the watch to get revived. Instead, Wanda has to use it on the ghost. Wanda can use it on other players as many times as she wants, with a cooldown of 4 minutes per use and per watch, and they will respawn exactly where they died. But for Wanda herself, it can be used only once and it will break with the cost of half of the resources. And Wanda herself can be revived by all normal means. Backtrack Watch. This watch is basically an item for kiting. If you have one of these on your inventory, a small mark will be following you around. Upon using this watch, Wanda will teleport to that mark. Notice that the mark is really far when she's the youngest and really close when she's the oldest. Probably something about time catching up to her as she ages or something like that. It has a 2-second cooldown, so you will only need one to kite mobs. And it has a few invincibility frames that you can abuse to avoid all damage, but it's kinda hard to get the timing right. And the location of the teleport mark is semi-random. Backtrack Watch. This one is the most powerful teleport we ever got in Don't Starve so far. The downside is it can only be used by Wanda. You can use the clock to save a location and a mark will be on the floor indicating the anchor point. And you can just activate the clock to get to that location. Why so powerful? Well, you can travel between shards with this teleport. You can literally set an anchor point at the pseudo-science station or the atrium and travel from the surface to those locations without cost, since it's another item with no durability. This item can only be crafted with the Presty Hattie Hater, and the important item you will need is a Walrus Tusk. If you want to remove the anchor points and reuse the clock to create another teleport, you can simply use the tools to deconstruct it and make it back. You cannot deconstruct any of the clocks when they are on cooldown, and this one has a cooldown of 8 minutes. Rift Watch. The craft option for this one will appear just by having a Backtrack Watch in your inventory, or you can make it just by socketing a purple gem in it. It's the same clock as the Backtrack. The exception is that it creates a portal allowing your friends to travel with you. You can also move statues like this, so we finally got a good alternative to move the marble pieces and even the moon altars. Alarming Clock. If you are already excited about the other clocks, this one is a game changer for combat. It can only be crafted using a shadow manipulator and it's quite cheap in my opinion. This clock is a powerful shadow weapon that can be refilled by nightmare fuel for 25%. Unlike other melee weapons, this one is similar to a whip and it has some range to it. But the incredible thing is the damage. As young, she deals 81.6 damage. As a boomer, she deals 97.9 damage. And as a granny, she deals 142 damage. At 0% durability, it won't break and it deals 27.2 damage, not being considered a shadow weapon anymore. As I said before, the boomer and the granny damage buffs also applies to the dark sword, but I don't see any Wanda players using dark swords when this watch is so cheap and powerful. And that's pretty much it. Today is the official release date for this character, but it's still subjected to changes. I'll leave a pinned comments if something changes. And like usual, I'll post a video where I just fight every boss as her, and we'll see how strong is this fighting granny. So make sure to subscribe. Also follow my Twitch and join my Discord, links at the description. As always, thank you for watching.